A very good evening to you viewers out there. Welcome once again to In Perspective, your fortnightly program on this station and your weekly program on the Rock television station. This evening I have two very well-known personalities with me. To my immediate left is Member of Parliament, Mr. Zulficar Mustapha. He's now residing on the East Bank of Demerara. And to my right is Mr. Hussein, the PPP Supervisor for Region 6. Gentlemen, welcome to this program.
Thank you.
And for the next hour or so, we'll be having some discussion, and then we'll open our telephone lines to hear your views, hear your thoughts, and hear what is taking place in your community and your perspective, what you feel is taking place in the country. Over the last 2 weeks, we have witnessed a lot of interested development have taken place. The first one was the unconstitutional, unilateral, and illegal appointment of a chairman of the Ghana Elections Commission. You know now that is the most topical news in the country. That is the most heated news right now in the country. And almost every single organization in our country, save and except the AFC, the WPA, and some cohorts of the APNU, they are the only person who are backing that appointment. All the other organizations, the People's Progressive Party, trade unions, civic organization, religious organization, personality from various organizations have came out and said that the president should rescind that appointment, which is unconstitutional. And I want to hear your views on that. Also, I'll ask my guests here tonight to share their view on the appointment. And then we had, after 2 months of recess, the annual recess of the Parliament, the Parliament had reconvened last Thursday, where we mounted, the People's Progressive Party mounted a massive protest outside of the Parliament, and then we also mounted a protest for the first time in the history of our country in the Parliament. We'll talk about that also. We are saying, from the People's Progressive Party perspective, we are saying that the action of the government, the action of the president is unconstitutional, and he should revert back to the Constitution. And last weekend, the opposition leader and his team were in Berbice. They have engaged Berbice in a number of activities. They had a massive activity in Skeldon and Caribaton, and then there were a number of community activities across the region at Chesney, Bongyard, in Gangaram, Kingfield, and places like that. We have seen also the Auditor General report. We have received it in the Parliament last Thursday, and that report now is being perused by a Member of Parliament. I was going through the report a few days back, and I saw there are a number of points that were flagged by the Auditor General, where he said that the traveling expenses for the Prime Minister, Moses Nagamutu, you remember that guy? He said that he never traveled when he was campaigning. He never traveled first class. He never took a salary increase under the PPP government. But for the last 2 years, his traveling expenses alone, traveling around the world, amounted to over 20 million Guyana dollars. 20 million Guyana dollars he have expended so far over that. Then you had the Commission of Inquiries, all those COIs that the President set up. It has cost the taxpayers over $175 million so far. So you could see where the money is going, where taxpayers' money are going, where taxpayers' money are now being put in areas that cannot benefit the Guyanese people. Then last week, Sunday, I saw a press release from the AFC, the Alliance for Change. They invited Berbice, they invited their members, and they planned a big celebration, the 12th anniversary celebration at the WIM Community Center ground, where they mentioned in the press release that the entire leadership of the AFC will be at the WIM Community Center ground last Sunday. Well, lo and behold, I understood from our comrades around WIM that the residents of Wim were planning a picketing exercise if Moses and company were planning to go to the Wim Community Center. And also the turnout was so poor. The turnout at the Wim Community Center was so poor that I understood about 2 or 3 teams only took part in the activity, and they sent up, they failed to show up. They failed to show up, Moses failed to show up, Armjitan failed to show up, and they sent up Gary Low to attend the activity. I saw it on the social media. And then we had the Canadian chapter of the ARC. You know, they had a group in Canada. That group now has pulled out from the ARC because of the unconstitutional, illegal, and unilateral appointment of Patterson of as the Guyana Elections Commission chairman. And they asked that the ARC should also ask the government, ask the president to rescind that decision. And in Guyana, Nagamutu and the entire ARC backed that decision. And because of that, we have seen the action of the ARC chapter in Canada. They have withdrawn their support and they have pulled out of the ARC. We have also submitted a motion to the Parliament where we have identified a number of measures that could ease the burden on the Guyanese people. How we could revive the sugar industry, how we could should not close the sugar industry, how we could revive the rice sector, the taking out VAT from the education. You remember the 14% VAT on education, water, electricity, where we say that the pensioner must receive again their subsidies, where we also highlighted in that petition, in that motion, we said that the cash grant that we used to give to the school children must return to the school children. So all these things took place over the last 2 weeks. As I said, I'm just highlighting what have taken place over the last 2 weeks. Ramjatan went to Region 3. He had some public forum at Region 3. When he went here, residents came out in massive numbers and picketed him. He had to cut short his activity and return back to Georgetown. The same kind of pressure we have to exert in Region 6, another region, Region 5. We have to continue the pressure wherever these guys go now, because they are becoming dictators. They are not running the country with our constitution. They are doing things that they want to do. They are trying to keep themselves in power. And the first action of doing that, they have done by appointing a chairman unilaterally, although the Constitution states, Article 161(2) of the Constitution states that the opposition leader must submit a list of 6 names to the president, which is unacceptable. And as long the opposition leader submitted the first list, then the president by no means, he should have appointed a chairman of an elections commission outside of the list. He should continue as the president, the opposition leader, to submit more lists if he found that the 3 lists that were submitted were unacceptable. So gentlemen, those are some of the discussion I want us to have here tonight, after which we will be opening our telephone lines so that we can hear views of from members of the public. So Vic, as a member of Parliament, your thought first on the appointment is unilateral and constitutional, illegal appointment of the chairman of this Elections Commission.
Well, let me say I'm happy to be on this program with you, Comrade Zulficar and Comrade Jamal. And good evening to you viewers. From the onset, I would like to say that the constitution of a country is supreme. There is no one, not even the president, that is bigger than the constitution of a country. And for a president of a country to unilaterally and unconstitutionally appoint someone is a disrespect to not only the law of the country, but to the people of the country. It is a disrespect not only to the People's Progressive Party or the opposition, but all Guyanese, regardless of where you live, which party you support, which ethnic group you're from, it is disrespectful to all Guyanese. And we have seen that the president has strayed away totally from the the Constitution, the charter formula that was put in place from 1992 onwards. Because what existed beyond 1992 was that the president would have selected a GCOM chairman, which is certainly a recipe for rigged elections, as we have seen massively in the 70s and 80s. That is why the charter formula was introduced in 1992, so that we will have 3 commissioners from the PPP, 3 commissioners from the PNC or the APNU, and then the chairman, the chairman would come through the nomination of 6 persons from the opposition leader, and the president would select that 1 person out of the 6. The opposition leader, Comrade Barajaglia, through consultation, have submitted 18 persons, 3 lists.
Qualified persons.
Qualified permanent Guyanese, upstanding Guyanese, of all ethnic groups. So this notion of one ethnic group, names from one ethnic group being submitted, is lie. Total lies. Because if you peruse the list, you would see that there are a number of Guyanese from different, young brilliant Guyanese from different ethnic groups that may represent Guyana.
But Vic, you made a very, very good point. And now to move away from the Constitution, they want to just silence that, and they are saying that we're using the race card, which is not so. Because the opposition leader, Comrade Jagdeo, submitted to him a number of young, bright Afro-Guyanese persons, people with integrity, people that are qualified to be judges, people that are qualified under the other criteria, fit and proper, who could have run the Elections Commission.
Yeah.
But then this guy again, coming back to this guy, retired Justice Patterson, he said in his CV that he was the Chief Justice of Grenada. When we found out and we looked at it, he was never the Chief Justice. Then he said that he was acting sometime. He can't remember when he was acting. How you could a big position like that?
Exactly.
You understand?
On the forest issue, Zulfi, and the race issue, I think all Guyanese should denounce such an accusation coming from the government. Because what we are saying is that simply to follow the Constitution, if you are saying that these persons of Indian descent were a GCOM chairman under the PPP, then they weren't unilaterally or unconstitutionally appointed. Those were persons that were submitted by the then opposition leader.
Right.
So they were on a list submitted by the then opposition leader, and the president of the day made a choice.
And then the other issue is that some persons that were submitted, people like retired Major Joe Singh. He was already a GCOM chairman. Yes. He ran an election that was certified to be free and fair, right? And his name was one of the names that was submitted by the opposition leader. And so the point I am trying to make is that you could see that this government, this president, who is untrustworthy now, he had reneged on all his commitment. He wrote the opposition leader and said that, look, you submit to me a list of 6 names, and I will choose from that list a person that is not unacceptable to me. The first list was rejected. The second list was rejected. The third list was rejected. He should have asked the opposition leader to submit another list. Right? But why? These people names that were people like Christopher Ram. Christopher Ram was one of the most anti-PPP person in this country when we were in government. Joe Singh is a neutral person. He don't affiliate to any government. Former GCOM chairman.
Employed by the
right. You have judges. You have B.S. Rai. You have Ramlal, Justice Ramlal. Those persons has integrity. Our own person here, Mr. Krishna Prasad, a magistrate in high standing, a former magistrate. Those people never affiliated politically to any party, or they are partisan. Those people have integrity. They have commitment to serve their country, and they were willing. They were willing to have their names submitted to the president so that they can have a chance to make a contribution to our country. But you see, this was like thief in the night. Call the opposition leader the Deepavali night, inform him that he rejected the list, and at the same time said he will be appointing Justice Patterson, and 2 hours after they sworn in Justice Patterson at State House. You could see the kind of way that they did this action to just do it fast. Nobody can challenge it. right?
Further to that too, if you look at the 18 names that were submitted by the opposition leader, if we should look at the race here, 6 of those names, and I can guarantee you, because this can be easily queried, this can be easily checked online. 6 of those names are prominent, qualified Afro-Guyanese.
Yes.
Another 6, that's 1/3. Another 6 represent the mixed races of Guyana.
Right.
Portuguese, the Amerindian, the Chinese. For example, we had Jerry Gavaya, Annette Arjun, and these people. And another 6, which is 1/3 Indo-Guyanese. So it was a fair distribution when it comes to what Guyana represents in terms of races. Yes, very equal in representation. Then to select a person, not only age, because I meant no disrespect to our senior residents, senior citizens, but an 84-year-old person to manage such an organization is a very, very difficult task. Very, very difficult task. And then someone especially who was selected by the president to head a commissioner inquiry into the prison fire.
And he's also advisor to the
Attorney General. So he was handpicked by the president to head the COI into the prison fire that killed 17 inmates.
And then he works. He
was a legal advisor to.
He is.
To the Attorney General. And then this man compiled a COI. You mentioned COI cost the taxpayers of this country $175 million Guyana dollars. That could have paid the teachers that they're now negotiating with. That could have paid the sugar workers, the API, at least one of the estates. So we paid $175 million taxpayers dollars for a job that the ministers who took a 50% increase in salary should have been doing. Yeah. That is their job. But instead they give their friends and the cronies and the family a job in the COI. Oh, do this COI. And then what did the COI say with the prison? Oh, 17 inmates were there. Oh, they were living with rats and centipede. That is what we paid for. That is what taxpayers were here going out for. And this is the very man that we appoint as chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission.
He could hardly walk.
A man who lied.
Frail, very frail.
And a man who issued a statement today that said that a half-truth is equal to a whole lie.
Yeah.
A half-truth is equal to a whole lie.
I want to bring in Comrade Zamal. He's the supervisor for Borbis. Zamal, I think that, what's the view of Borbis generally since this announcement, unilateral announcement?
Well, first of all, let me say good night to viewers and thank you very much for having me on this program once again. Let me say that Borbisian on the whole is very concerned, and the biggest concern within the population in Borbis is rig elections. This is the fear, because what is happening here with the unilateral appointment of Patterson as the GCOM chairman, we have seen that there is no chance, or people starting to lose hope that we will not be getting back a fair and free election in this country.
Well, in that case, I just want to interject that we can lose hope. We have to continue the fight. Even if the president does not rescind the decision of Patterson, we have to ensure from now on, because now it's 2017, if election will held 2020, we have to ensure that we plug all the loopholes. We have to ensure that our people, first of all, our people names are on the list. They have to come out and get themselves registered. Those young people who will be of age should come and get out and register. Then we have to ensure that these polling places there, that they normally steal the votes. We have to get strong people to go to these polling stations. Many times we send our people to polling stations like places like Port Morant and Albion and Doomfield and things like that. We have to now, so we can't say that the people, we have to tell our people now that even if Patterson, the president does not remove Patterson as the chairman of the Elections Commission, we have to fight it. There is hope and we have to fight it. I think we have a strong leader, a leader that has a lot of integrity, a leader that is well liked around the country, that is recognized internationally, and he's leading this party and leading our people. And we have a lot of confidence in him that he will take us back to victory in 2020. So we can't lose hope, and we have to ensure we talk to our people.
That is actually what the party is doing presently now. We're moving in all the communities in the area. We were in Blackbush, Pola, Bushlat today, and Firish. We spoke with our comrades there, and we're trying to renew the hopes of people within this area. Now we are urging that persons should come on board, because you know the party needs so much a person. When you spoke about polling agents and people to protect the election, to ensure that we get a good list and so forth, we need a lot of persons to come on board with the party so that we can ensure that we will have a fair and free election in 2020.
I think both of you were at the Parliament last Thursday. Vicky was an MP and Jamal, you went there too. I think the protest that was mounted outside, and I'll ask the operator now to show clips of the protest outside of Parliament. We had a number of persons came out to protest the decision of the President. And we had protests inside of Parliament too, where we took our placards, and you could see clips there, you could see pictures there of our placards in Parliament. Whilst the President was speaking, we were highlighting to the international community, we were highlighting nationally about the undemocratic practice of this government, about the unconstitutional appointment of the President, or about the illegal and unilateral appointment of a person to head a very important election body that have to give us free and fair election. Those were protests inside the Parliament. We raise our placard, and we also heckle, and we say that you must come to the Parliament when you respect the Constitution of our country. You must not flout the Constitution and come and talk about the good life. And Vic, in his speech at Parliament, he just regurgitated all the things like about the good life, how the country going good and things like that. So viewers, that is those are the pictures in Parliament which we have highlighted our concern and our cause. Then outside of Parliament, we have massive numbers of persons turn out. The operator will show you just now some clips of those protest action that were mounted outside of Parliament, where people from every background came out to register their complaint, to register their anger, to register their protest against the unconstitutional appointment of this retired Justice Patterson to be the chairman of the Elections Commission. And we are saying that business cannot be as usual. We'll continue with our non-cooperation. All our councillors, both in the RDC, the NDCs, they were told that, look, the first thing now you must do is to ensure that you address the needs and concern of the people in your community. You should not take part in any government activity, because this government is a non-democratic government now. This government is practicing dictatorial action, dictatorial behavior, and we can't go and work with them when they are now flouting the constitution of our country. In 1992, Dr. Chelly Jagan submitted a list of names. At that time, President Hyde picked a person from that list. We had Rudy Collins. In 2001, a list was submitted by Mr. Hyde. Dr. Jagan picked a name from that list, I believe Mr. Edward Hopkinson, in 1994. In 2001, we had another list that was submitted by the PNC. Granger name was also on the list. Granger name was on that list. Then we had Dudnat Singh, right? The former senior counsel Dudnat Singh. He was one of the chairmen. Then in 2006, we had Joe Singh and Suraj Bali. Those were all the appointments as chairman of the Elections Commission. This president, however, flouted the Constitution, go against it, trying to put his own crony into this Elections Commission. Vic was saying just now about the Carter formula. When Carter came to Guyana, pre-1992, he saw in Guyana that the PNC was controlling the Elections Commission. And he came with three things in his mind. One was to have an independent Elections Commission One it was to ensure that we got a proper voters list, and the third one was to have the vote counted at the place of vote. Right? The ballot counted at the place of vote. When Carter made that formula, both Dr. Jagan and Mr. Hart at that time accepted the formula. And then we had constitutional reform, and that formula became part of our constitution. It became laws of the land now. And this president is flouting our constitution, ruling undemocratic. So we have to take a step on this. We have to take a step on this. And we have to tell our people that, look, business cannot be as usual now. The country is going down. Why is our money, that the taxpayers' money that were in the treasury, we are seeing the money, we have overdraft now in the consolidated fund. Right, overdraft in the consolidated fund, they're spending out money and they are not getting income coming in. We are not getting new investment. Jobs, we are not getting new jobs. Right? Look, you could see protests in front of Parliament. You have a number of persons came out. That was part of the protests in front of the Parliament. You could see the barricade there. But people from all walks of life came out in their numbers. Over 1,000 people came out there on that day to protest this unilateral, illegal and constitutional appointment of this chairman of the Ghana Elections Commission.
I think the people really made their voices heard on that day, Zulfi. And what bemused me mostly was the president's speech in Parliament. The president came to Parliament to lecture us on constitution
and good governance
and legislation and accountability, when on the other hand he is the one who violated the very constitution that he's speaking of, by unilaterally appointing a GCOM chairman.
That's it.
When there is a prescribed formula and constitution detailing how the process should work. So you are lecturing us about constitutional legislation when you're the person who are breaking the laws of the country.
Breaking the rules.
At one moment while he was speaking, I was wondering if he was actually speaking of Guyana. Maybe he's talking about some other country, because it seems so glorious and everything seems so nice and fancy. And jobs are being created and investors are coming into the country, but it must be some other country. In part of his speech, I can recall him saying the government is reconciling the sugar industry, or consolidating the sugar industry.
You mean closing down the sugar
industry? If consolidation means to sell out and close down industries, well then that is PNC or APNU interpretation.
That's the point.
Because a president coming to Parliament and saying he's consolidating the sugar industry, and then you're closing down estates and selling out sugar factories. That is not consolidation at all. So he's the same person who lecture about constitution, then breaks it. He's the same person who say he's consolidating the sugar industry and is closing down sugar estates. He's the same person who say that I'm going to create jobs for the young people, then he appoints the 84-year-old and the 80-year-old into senior government position. The young people in APNU should not be taking this easy.
Well, this president only appoints military personnel and senior citizen to position. Before we open our telephone lines, Zamal, what are some of the plans you all have in Berbice?
Well, some of the plans is that we will be continuing and stepping up on our picketing exercise right across the entire region. In fact, we started already putting into, I think a lot of persons calling in to ensure that they get a date and the time when we will be going to these exercises, so that we could be able to carry them. So most of them will be going by themselves. So this is one of the way forward. Then we will not be taking part in all the government activities that we have said. We have outlined this. Also, we will be looking at making sure that the party, we are looking at the machinery of the party to ensure that we equip it quickly, so that, because we want to ensure that we get a solid party when we go to 2020.
And you have community meetings going on.
And then we have community meetings right across the region, starting from Monday. We will be getting community meetings in the entire region, from Crabble Creek to catch the Mara. Also, we have other meetings, reaching with other stakeholders and so forth. So.
Yeah, but just before I go, I see the line going now. People like Nagamutu and Ramjitan, these are the guys who fool out some of our people, fool some of our supporters. That look, they go receive $9,000 back for their paddy. They go get the sugar workers will get 20 and more percent and things like that, and that they go ensure that this new government enhance the livelihood of Guyanese. Today these guys are so silent. They are every single action of the president. They are backing. They are trying to justify it. Man like Nagamutu betrayed the Guyanese people. He's singing now for his supper. The guy doesn't have any integrity left in him. Doesn't have any integrity left in him. Now he is in the APNU and all the action of unconstitutional action of the president and the APNU government, he is justifying. Although they are not being consulted, the APNU never consult them to appoint this guy. They came out and said that. You understand? Ramjitan said. But although the president not consult with me, I still will support his decision. Nagamutu came back, probably studied law, he didn't know about the constitution. He wrote something last week Sunday in the Guyana Chronicle, trying to spin the thing to show that the president, to justify the president's action in appointing this whole guy.
We have our own MP here who I see writing some.
Who Charan does? You can't expect better than from Charan, you understand?
It is amazing, Comrade Zulfi, you're right, that a person like Moses Nagamutu, a person who would have trained under Chedi Jagan, a person who fought with the PPP for democracy, for free and fair elections, for respect of the Constitution, would be the person who would bow to this unconstitutionality today.
Well, today he's in another, he's wearing another shoe, and now he's enjoying the big life. Because when we were in government, he was the man crafting the term fat cats.
Yes.
Right? And our minister at that time used to receive $582,000 or $580,000 a month. Today, each minister in this government receiving close to $1 million. Nagamutu receiving 1.3 million a month. Ramjitan received 1.3 million, and the president and the attorney general receiving close to 2 million.
Plus benefits.
Living out benefits and perks. Living out his house. He refurbished the Main Street house that Comrade Sam was living in.
A new vehicle. He
buy a new brand, custom-made vehicle. He bought new furniture. Now $20 million he expended over the last 2 years traveling around the world with his friends and family. This is the kind of man who used to come and fool Barbishan, fool the Guyanese people. You understand?
I can remember his famous phrase, Cadillac lifestyle in a donkey carriage.
He's practicing. Let me take our first call. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Can you speak up a bit?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I'm sorry to see you. You know who I am. So I won't tell you my name unless you can guess it. If not, I'll tell you again. You can remember prior to 1992. What happened between Hamilton Green and Desmond House?
Something is between Hamilton Green and Desmond House. What is it?
Why he was expelled. And you could remember it. Because of the problems that he wasn't, Green wasn't agreeing for the CSA election.
Right.
And he was expelled because of that. And from the time, these guys bring back Hamilton Green and start to give him pension and whatever he can do. I know that these guys will try to do what they did like all the 5 years election.
Yeah, you're right. Because not only bring back him, but the point is that you could see the alignment, because as soon as Granger became president, he brought back Hamilton Green into the fold. He brought back Hamilton Green into the party.
Yeah,
you understand? Yeah. So the mindset of these guys is, look, is one way we go in. You understand? I agree with you.
And I want to feel that physically he's advising them somewhere down the line. And they are taking his advice because they know he was a dead dynamite.
Yeah, well, this guy is a reincarnation of one of them to Granger.
Yes.
You know, he said publicly that he wants to bring back Mormonism to this country.
Exactly. And we know that prior to 1992 election, how we fought for freedom and change.
Right.
The father, myself, Rachel, all of us.
Right.
And today, the young people, I think, will have to do the same again.
Well, we have to continue, we have to educate them. People like you will have to pass on the education and tell them what we went through.
Actually, the old people should sit down and educate their children.
Right, I agree with you.
They were transpired during those times.
Right.
Then we have to smuggle sardines and all sorts of contraband items from children.
Yes, sorry, now, right, contraband.
You know, food cups and all sorts of things.
So we have to educate, I agree with you, right? We have to educate our young people. Thanks for the call, eh?
Hold on. You know who's calling?
Who?
Let me tell you, go on.
Oh, okay, yes, All right, how things, everything good?
You went too.
All right, good, take care.
Okay, you too.
I agree with the caller observation with respect to Hamilton Green. As you would recall, a bill was brought to Parliament, the Hamilton Green Pension Bill. Not the Prime Minister Pension Bill. The Hamilton Green Pension Bill.
Hello, good evening.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
I think right now think we are doing, so I understand well, right? And the thing when you do that, everybody know. In cabinet, I think what you got to do. That's the other one. If you get on say, if you have been here at Parliament, or we
okay.
In that put me at state that what I was in the Parliament, you got to do. Yes, because both yeah, we didn't know anything about tax now. You understand what I'm saying? You know that? Only people are not up on something that I am going to do it.
Oh, alright, good. Thanks for the call.
With that, the man of PLC now, they put the man.
Yes.
What PLC man?
He was the Palmyra type funeral too.
Right.
Right.
The old man, and then we put the radio after.
Yeah.
That's me about the man.
Good. Alright. Thanks for the call.
Right? And this is where our school, our India, our Chinese in what? We will come together.
Everybody.
Fight this thing out.
Everybody.
We will not fight for it. They are not with you.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And I think that many young people, now I get a rule again. I attack the young people here. I used to get there, I got to take them out.
No, all of us got to fight because...
It's a guy, that's a man who works with the government. A man said, let's get one straight by the force that we have Christmas morning.
Yeah.
I hope I want to $50,000, I gotta get that. Let's get $5,000, I gotta get then I go, let's get $1,000, we have taxes at the house.
Yes.
Well,
we got to educate, right? Educate the young people and talk about the continue the fight.
This is how.
Alright.
People got to come and stand for the right.
Good, thanks.
Okay.
Well, the caller made some good point that, you know, a lot of people now are dissatisfied because even members of the discipline services, they are not getting the 1 month bonus they used to get during the Christmas holiday.
Besides from that, they were promised life insurance policy for themselves and family.
Yeah.
To date, nothing. To date, nothing.
But when we speak about the protest there, it's very important that we know that when they was picketing outside there, you know, the disturbances were the PNC.
Yeah, they bring people to provoke our people.
To this.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening to you, gentlemen.
Good evening.
I want to ask you a question. You don't think the kind of politics that is playing out in this country today is dividing this country?
Well, we have to look, continue.
Because what we've seen, right? I look at the people who protest around the parliament. 99% of those people are Indian. Right? Now I'm saying this. If we cannot bring the people together, if we cannot bring Guyanese together, we can anywhere. And another thing I want to say is I'm a Christian, right? You know, I read in the Holy Book that nobody can ascend to power unless God put that person there. When Bono was there for 28 years, God allowed him. Then God take him away, take down the PNC, put the PPP. Now there's another part. You know, you cannot fight what God is doing, right? So we have to support, and we have to, if you have an issue, do it peacefully, and let's take this course for too long. We'll be going on with this thing in Guyana.
Okay, brother. Thanks for the call.
They were all in this country.
All right, brother. Thank you. Right?
Okay.
Thank you. But the caller made some points. I just want to respond. First of all, God didn't say tell Granger to do wrong things. He went and he appointed a person illegally. Right? God never told them to steal the vote in South Georgetown. Right? So we have to ensure, we have to rally every races in this country. All the races have to come together. I agree with the caller that all the races have to come together. We have to fight against the wrong things that are being meted out to the people.
But what the caller is saying too, with around Parliament we had one set of people. It's not one set of people, we had a lot of people here. Different kind of people, but there was PNC top there who tried to intimidate the crowd and causing a lot of confusion. If we get a picketing exercise, that allow the people to peacefully do what they do and hear their concern. You can't stop persons to get different views.
I think too, the caller must query what is the real purpose of the Ministry of Social Cohesion, because to date I am still confused as to the real purpose of this ministry and what they should be doing.
That is a political ministry, like the ministry they had before of what you call it, national mobilization.
Because I've heard that there will be a seminar or some
we have informed all our councillors, all our NDC, municipality councillors and RDC councillors that they should not attend this.
Because,
this is
because what they're doing is preaching social cohesion in words, but it's not replicated in their actions, because we can see that clearly.
Let me highlight this, because only Thursday we have statutory meeting. I just want 2 minutes on this. I said to them is that they're using the central ministry, passing the money to specific communities in this region, for instance,
selected communities,
selected support base of the APNO AFC government, and putting in money for playgrounds and special projects in the support base, and they are not passing the money like the previous government through the REC, so that the money can be spent equally across the region. So that is one of the way.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Where are you calling us from?
Ahmed.
Ahmed, okay.
Well, I call it to make a point. Well, I talk my story plainly. I was a black man.
Yeah.
But that place in New Amsterdam was given the yellow fever.
The Ministry of Health, the Regional Health Authority.
Right, was given the book. Well, I went to Thursday. But in fact, I went Wednesday and find out why the practice there for the book. Them say from 8 to 11, then giving out. But I read the after 1 to find out that, right? I know government office open from like either from about 7:30 till about 4.
8 to 4:30, yeah.
Right. Then instead of giving from 8 to 11, okay, then they have to come on the next week and it's already closed. I have a problem, I go back the next week with. When I go, I read the afterlife. Them say no, they come here to give
the vaccine.
The book, I already have the vaccine.
Oh, you need the book, okay.
Book. I wait till 10:30, she come. But one person come out. When I go in, I post the door now. I have the black and he go guy in front of the door. When the one come out, I Indian girl come out, already have. When I went to go down, she slammed the door and said, Lord, time now.
And that was what time?
That was minutes to 12. Then now she lunch time. The she working after this lunch time, come back once, I wait for one. And I wait for one now. I had to see picture going on, 1 o'clock already. She come up and tell the security, she finished work.
So you got your certificate?
Till I come up the next day.
That's when I come up in the 12 o'clock, which is the lunch, then what happens again? Because I wait in past the week to get my thing to travel. That's when I get that I can go to certain place.
Right.
The answer. You just finish work.
So you don't receive your yellow fever certificate?
No, I don't have to, I get a vaccine in the car, so I don't have the book.
Alright, listen. Take this number down.
Yeah.
614
Right.
0196.
Okay, 614-0196.
Call that number. He is the chairman of the health committee, Mr. Hussein. This good gentleman sitting alongside of me here, and he will try to help you, right?
Okay.
Good, thanks for the call.
I got it. Okay.
That is a normal thing. That is a normal thing in the country now. Nobody cares for anybody.
But this is something that the region has been spending a lot of money on. A couple $1 million with trained staff. How they should treat people, right, within the health sector. And the money actually going
I think you will get the gentleman to tell you all the information. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you, Sophie.
Good evening.
Good evening, Zulficar Mustapha.
Good evening.
Yeah, you know, I really would like to say that the unilateral decision that the president has made to elect was of the Patterson as the chairman of GCOM has thrown this country far to 7 years back.
Right.
After the number the screen 1970, we got back to 1970. So I want to say that even a blind person can see that we are in the midst of a fractured society.
Right.
We are in the midst of a disgruntled society in all the sectors. Agriculture, you have the teaching sector, the teachers are disgruntled. There are policemen and women are disgruntled. Okay, you have the mining sector. They are also disgruntled. And don't talk about the housing, the people who shot at the building the other day in after fire. I tell you, the pastor shared right on the stove. And to say, these people in all the African sector, right now, if they hold an election, a snap election, the coalition is out. If they only hold an election right now with the nonsense that these people have done, right, you must understand that you have a part of our society who felt betrayed.
Definitely.
Right, you have the sugar workers, where are these people going, what are they doing so?
Well,
Again, the action is that of a dictatorial society.
Right.
And that was in Burnham days. We are living in a democracy. And what the president has done is undemocratic.
Right.
It's not police or soldiers. Police and soldiers, you submit yourself or subject yourself as a submit to a superior officer. Right? You're dealing with the masses, you're dealing with people, and you're dealing with people's lives. So I'm saying again that I want to believe that this coalition administration will create history in Guyana. The fourth administration that comes to power, the fourth wanted.
Alright, let us over. Thanks for the call. I think the caller made some very, very, very salient points.
I think he actually hit the nail on the head to answer a previous caller that spoke about unity and segregation. But the president, this single act by the president,
he ruled all the confidence.
Exactly, will further fracture whatever unity and cohesion that were there that we worked so hard to build.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good night. Where are you calling us from? Alvin, okay. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, man, I'm here. This president will be getting now, right? I want to ask one question. In Burnham days, who has rigged the election in Burnham days?
Well, the army. You know what else? Let me tell you what else, how the election is rigged. They send the army to rig to collect all the ballot boxes, take it to one place in Georgetown, take out the ballot and stuff their own ballot in the thing. And people like, you know who was in the army? People like this president was in the army.
Well, that we want to say to the young people.
Right.
This is the president who used to rig the election. This is the man who used to rig that. This is Burnham number 2. This is going on number 2 already.
Right. All right.
We are going back to another 28 years.
No, we have to fight them because we can't sit down.
We
have to fight them, and we have to ensure
but
that
they are the man who is in power.
Yeah, well, we have to put the pressure, we have to exert the pressure. The whole country now is against them.
Yeah, I know that.
The whole entire country is against them, what they did. Thanks for the call, right?
Okay, thank you.
No, one of the points that people gotta know, and this is a very important point. A lot of people are trying to give up hope, but Shadi Jagan have said that if we count the ballot at this place of poll, then we will win the election. So we gotta ensure that we get the polling agents to protect the ballot.
Hello? Hi, good evening. This country belongs to every races. But you see the point is, this government, here now, listen, you know what, listen what I tell you to you know? Right? No, listen, you indoctrinate. Probably you want to get a good life, you know? Probably Granger give you a lot of money, you know? And you will try to defend them. Because every sector in this country, and this country not belongs to one race, this country belongs to all the races. Right? All the races, and that is the way the PNC and their people try to do. Use race card to divide our people.
Exactly. This country belongs to all guys.
Every single guy.
I think we should choose a particular race with the Amerindians.
Good night. Okay, what are you calling us from?
West Coast, Bobby.
West Coast, okay.
Yeah, you know, this country supposed to be a country that divided between Korean and black, right?
How do you mean? What do you mean divided?
Yeah, that means the two races actually live in this country.
No man, there's a lot of people now. You see a statistic of Iran. Let me tell you something.
Majority.
Yeah, you say that. Majority are Indo and Afro-Guyanese, but they got a lot of mix. You got a lot of Armenians. You got Portuguese, Chinese. So all the races own this country.
Yeah, but like I don't really go that far.
No, we are saying that about the wrong things that are taking place. We are saying.
Imagine, we are like 22 years.
You're right.
I do all the God. What of this country? Run the country.
Hold on. Let me start. Take up in there. Listen. You like better off now than before 2015? You enjoying a better life now than when the PPP was in office? You got a problem. Let me tell you the problem. Right? Here now. The problem of this man is that he doesn't want to put the facts. He's saying that we run down the country. But when we were in there, you had the pensioners used to get the subsidies, the school children used to get a school grant, the sugar worker, no matter how low, they just get an increase at the end of the year, they just get an API, the teachers will get a salary. So probably this guy, he doesn't know what is...
And I'm sure the position that he was in 1992, at the ending of 2015, he was in a far better position.
And now his position going down.
And now it is declining backwards.
It's going backwards, right?
But that's the key thing. They don't remember the time when the PPP took over in '92. The state of the country.
Yeah.
That is important.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good night.
Good night.
Mr. Zulficar.
Hi.
I am a fan of PPP.
Okay.
I'm calling to ask you, right? I would like to know, there's two questions I ask you. And those that PPP being the selection gone with have the majority vote for the people. And why does PPP lose this election?
Oh, and the second question?
Why is the other question is that the declaration of the International Committee, Mr. Carter Center, declared the afternoon government against this election.
Alright, I will answer both, right? I will take you off on the, here now, right?
Thank you, sir.
Good. Now the first question is that we knew too that the last election was massively rigged in certain parts of the country, That is why we filed an elections petition.
Still waiting for it.
And we are still awaiting the court to set a date. Although Trinidad had the election after us, they had an election petition and the petition was heard and everything finished. We heard the other day in Kenya, where the international observer were there too. They pronounced that the election were free and fair, the elections there were free and fair, but then the court ruled otherwise and they had a rerun of the elections. The Carter Center was in Guyana and pronounced that the elections, so probably they didn't went to the area that they had this massive stealing. They just went to different other places. You understand? So the point is that let us hope that the elections petition date come up early. Also, we have filed an action in the court to challenge the unconstitutional appointment of the GCOM chairman. And that matter is fixed for the 16th of this month so that we can have our day in court. So the caller just now, the first caller who was talking about the so we run down the country. Probably he live in he just came back to this country.
And you see, Guyanese in general, our memory sometimes are short-lived. We seem sometimes to forget where we came from and where we are today, and what were the challenges along the way, especially in the early 90s when Comrade Chelly took over this country. The challenges that we faced, massive debts, whereby most of our revenue was going to service debts.
The caller just called said that PPP run down this country.
The one previous
So once we know why they get, if we get this $30,000 to water subsidy and the light subsidy, if we know. And if you know that bring them little, and you read them my 18 areas, we give them birth certificate, ID card, to vote for them now.
Right.
In next election, one of the caller know that them thing that.
Well, probably them guys supporting the government, so they're trying to
know that, but they're not shame.
They're trying to defend it, you know.
But some of them
Yeah, alright.
We probably then had a house or light or telephone or proper road in 1992, which he enjoys today.
Some of them, it looks like they may enjoy this good life.
Like
them about how we decide that good life, I to go now.
Kaisuko going down the drain and they got to get rid of Kaisuko.
From 7 day walk to 5 days, 6 days now.
Alright, so thanks.
He made a very important point about the Haitians, the amount of Haitians coming into the country. We heard that they're passing through the country. We have no such evidence of them passing through the country.
But they're coming up.
We know that they're coming into the country every day. At least 50 to 60 Haitians are arriving in the country, and I had a personal experience because I was on a flight from Panama to Guyana with almost half of the plane are Haitians. I even sat next to a few of them, and they don't know English, and they refuse help to fill out their forms too. Maybe they're coming with secretly. And they were trained or told not to accept help from people. And when they arrive at the airport, they are treated differently.
Hello, good evening. Hello. Seems we have lost that car.
At the airport, they are treated, a special person goes and pull them out of the line, take them to a separate area where they seem to have some kind of priority treatment over ordinary visitors and Guyanese returning home.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Where are you calling us from?
If this is the thing that...
This girl. Yeah. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
If this is the thing over again, you don't get brought to go back down there.
Probably that is your view, you know. That is your view. But the majority views that they heard the calls just now, and you are holding a straw now. This government, why they want to appoint a person that supports them if they doesn't have intention of rigging the election? Why they didn't select from the list that were submitted, the 3 lists that were submitted to the president?
Maybe she knows something.
People of integrity, people with high background, people qualified, people who can run this elections commission free and fair and without fear or favor. The president go against that.
You know, everybody have a right to their views and to their belief, but you should not be disrespectful to other people views and beliefs.
That's the point, your democracy.
Right, that is democracy.
That is democracy.
That is democracy.
We'll take one final call and then we'll ask both gentlemen and we go wrap up because see the operator signal me that we are about program time. Hello, good evening.
Good night.
Good night.
I just thought about the Friday market.
About the
Friday market.
Friday market. You know anything about the Friday market, the NDC? Can you find out?
Yeah.
Ask the chairman, because you want to know if the Friday market will set again?
We heard that the Friday market starting back on Friday coming.
No, I can't say that. We have to find out. Well, here, the same number said just so you could call the gentleman next to me here at my immediate right, and he can give you the answer. He'll find out from the chairman, right? Call the number 333-2592 on Monday.
Okay.
Good, thanks. Gentlemen, that's the end of it. First of all, I ask Zamal just in a couple of words.
I just wanted to urge persons that don't give up hope. Let me continue with the struggle, continue with the fight, so that we could be able to get back into the power and ensure that we have a good life after 2022.
On behalf of all of us in the People's Progressive Party, I think all Guyana, we would like to call on the President to rescind the unconstitutional unilateral decision of appointing GCOM chairman and allow the Constitution to take its course.
Thank you all very much, gentlemen, for taking time off to come on this program. I hope that you'll be more often in this program. Viewers out there, let me thank you too for having us in your living room for the last hour or so. As I said, both gentlemen said just now that we must not give up hope. We must continue to support the People's Progressive Party. We have a young, dynamic leader, a leader with integrity, a leader who can take us back forward. And today we are witnessing our country is going down every single day. The standard of living of Guyanese is eroding. Our economy is going down. We are seeing corruption rampant now. Contractors are complaining that they are not getting jobs, that only the PNC and APNU contractors are getting jobs, and they are not getting jobs, they are coming out of business. People are losing their jobs, sugar workers at the end of this year. Rose Hall and Enmore will be closed. Skeldon will be privatized. Wales are already closed. So you could see the economic situation in our country is not looking good. And I think that we as a people, we have to fight, we have to demand, we have to say in no uncertain term that this action by the president is undemocratic, illegal, unilateral appointment of a chairman of GCOM. We all have to fight against it for him to rescind that decision. Until my next program, I want to wish you a pleasant week ahead, and I want to wish you a pleasant evening. Thank you very much.